Alright everybody, so I'm working on this 93 454 EFI Suburban and having some issues with it. Started out as before it got warmed up, it would, like, anytime I put it in drive and just like idling, it would instantly like die, or if I put it in reverse it would die. I kept it in park, it would run. It had a little bit of rough idle, but it would run at first. After it warmed up in park, it'd be fine. You could drive it everywhere, no problem. It'd get progressive, and then it would be fine. After it warmed up the first time, it would be fine for the rest of the day. It progressively got worse to where anytime that I turned it off and turned it back on, even if it warmed up prior, it would cut and sputter, but I could eventually get it to run and drive. Now it won't run at all. It'll crank all day but won't run. And then so I looked for some online for some like exact problems that other people has to start there, but I haven't found that. So I'm just kind of, it seems like a electrical issue, and so I'm just pretty much replacing all the major ignition components. I have all MSD, new cap and rotor. This one's got, it's hard to see, it's got some white corrosion around there. The points are a little bit worn. And so I got an MSD cap and rotor, MSD new plugs. I got AC Delco, the expensive spark plugs. And then I got a MSD coil, like it's a hotter coil also. And I'm also replacing the ignition control module. And I couldn't find any videos on where it was even located on the old EFI 454s. On the Vortex, it's like way back here, but where it actually ended up being was you had to take the distributor cap off, and then right behind like the rotor is the ignition control module. So I would never have found that unless I was taking the rotor off anyway. But I'm glad I'm replacing it, because look at the shape of the old one. That's, I'm trying to focus, that's like major corrosion. Not even sure how it got that bad, because it's like a weather pack connector, and this thing is just definitely cooked. This might be my whole problem. It's at least a problem. So I'm gonna put the new stuff on, and I bet it'll run better than ever. But yeah, so if you have a EFI 454, the ignition control module is under the distributor cap. All right, everybody, a little update on the Suburban. So put a new cap, rotor, all new plugs, all new wires, and it did start right away, the first crank, but I got the wires in the wrong order and it ran like crap. So I turned it off. I looked up a picture of the firing order, and I put them on, and I made sure like multiple times I put it on the right way, and I didn't like move the distributor or anything, so it still is in time. But now, like after the initial start where it was misfiring because I did it wrong, now again it won't start at all. So one of the last things I have to replace is the distributor itself. And then, so if like, I haven't messed with distributors very much, so I didn't really know what a good one looked like. But the distributor, the shaft itself, this old one, is seems to be in really bad shape. It's all, and also where the ignition control module, this piece. So this is the new distributor I just bought. Like the prongs are all rusty on it, and so if the prongs are all rusty, that pigtail is probably in bad shape too, and just like everything on the old distributor looks in pretty bad shape, and so I'm pretty sure that's gotta be the problem. If not, I don't know what else to do, and I'll have to have somebody come help me, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be the distributor is bad, and well, good enough to intermittently work sometimes, but it just looks pretty rough. So what I'm going to do is, I got this distributor from O'Reilly's. I'm going to put the MSD parts on this one and just keep the original parts that came on the new distributor, just like for spare, I guess. So this is a cheap like O'Reilly's distributor. I'm gonna put the MSD parts on this, and hopefully that fixes it. If not, I'll have to have somebody that knows more come and help me. So I'll let you guys know what happens.
Alright guys, in this clip I did get it running again, but it was still running like crap. And then after it eventually died, I couldn't get it to run again. I also pushed that radiator hose into the fan, and so yeah, that was fun.
Alright everybody, so I got the Suburban back from the shop. It's running better now than it ever has. So what ended up happening was, whenever I put the new distributor on, so I watched a YouTube video where whenever guys were replacing the distributor, the way they got it in time was that they just had the rotor pointing at #1 cylinder, and that's how they had their reference on keeping it in time. So I tried to do that, but the guy who got it going for me said that the reason why I want to start and run right is because I had the distributor 4 teeth off. So what made it so it ran a while, and then I got it to run decently by turning the distributor, but then it would still putter out and die, and after doing that a couple times it wouldn't start at all. So what happened was, with me getting the teeth off and running it, I fouled up the new plugs I put in, and I replaced the spark plug with the AC Delco expensive ones, and I fouled them all up. So he put new like cheap plugs in, and he got it timed right, and he also said he fixed some of the vacuum lines, and now it runs better than it ever has since I got it. And I've been daily driving this thing, haven't had any issues at all. So it sucks that, I mean, I haven't messed with old distributors or anything like that, and I've never timed anything. I've done all kinds of work on equipment, semis, cars, just all kinds of stuff across the board. But it sucks whenever you have to, especially for something that seems basic, it sucks when you have to get help. But I'm glad I did, because I was spending any free time I had, I was spending trying to get this thing going, and I just got fed up with it, and I just needed help, and he did it at a good price, and it runs great now. I'm happy to have it back. It's been a great truck for me. So I got the MSD plug wires. That coil didn't really fit in a good spot, so right now I'm just letting the coil hang until I can like zip tie and rig it up somewhere. But whenever I first started having problems with it, and I thinking whenever it wouldn't run and all that, I was thinking it could be like the fuel pump relay or just a bad ground somewhere. So I went, and there actually was a couple back, like whenever I took I went through all the grounds that I could find, the wiring grounds, and I unbolted them and cleaned up all the surfaces. In the process, like that ground, it just like fell apart, and so you can see I like wired it or wire brushed it and reinstalled it, and I crimped a new ground on there. All I had was the shitty cheap crimps, but and there's just there's one on there. I took that one off, cleaned it up. There's a couple there. I don't have any extra. I mean, that looks terrible, I know, but I took that one off. And mine's thermostat housing. I know that wire looks terrible, but I took those off, cleaned it up, put them back on. There's a bunch of other ones that I cleaned, and that also on this truck, the gauges and the clusters, they read right, but they kind of bounce around and stuff. And so I thought maybe cleaning up the grounds, one of them would help. Like a lot of people on the videos I watch, they say they cleaned up all the connections and like everything electrical just worked better. Like their headlights work better, their stuff like that. But they could all be placebo, but I don't know. It's been running great. It sounds better than it ever did. I think it could have been off time a little bit from the start, because now it just sounds, I didn't do anything exhaust wise. It just sounds great and runs great, and it's good to have it back. Now I'm trying to seal the windshield, and so the previous owner had a visor on it, from what I was told, and to put the visor on, they just like put self-tapping screws like right there and on the other side, and so whenever it rains, this thing leaks water inside pretty badly, and it slowly like ruins the interior. And so I filled up those holes with JB weld and put the Flex Seal spray on it, which I don't, and I filled it with all caulking. It still leaked. I put JB weld on it, still leaked. I just kept having problems, and then I ended up coming in here, and what's supposed to go there with those wires sticking out is like the AC controls and stuff. I took that off, and I found a big hole in the seal, the windshield, and that's where it's leaking from also. So it looks terrible now. I'm gonna go back and clean it all up, like the seal around the windshield and everything. But it hasn't rained yet for me to test it, but I'm really hoping that fixes it, because that's the main problem with this thing, is that it leaks water, and it gets all moldy and gross, and it just ruins the interior. So hopefully I can get that fixed soon. But that's the story of the Suburban. I'm just gonna keep driving it, and thank you for watching.